Mr. Gabriel.
Yeah, this is he.
The Los Angeles Rams, led by quarterback Roman Gabriel, coming off his best showing of the season last week, will guide his team against the Baltimore Colts.
Well, I am like an old crow hanging from the limb. As long as the limb don't break, I'm fine.
Play fake. Gabriel. They caught him. Touchdown, Ram Gabriel.
I appreciate you guys coming this way. It's really quite an honor.
How many times did you get cut off?
6.
6 times.
My last one in LA, I had strip ligaments, and they did what they call a reconstruction, where they drill holes in your both sides, take your hamstring and wrap it, tie it off. It's bone on bone. I don't have complete flexibility, but it works.
16 seasons as an NFL quarterback can have indelible effects on the body, especially if you play the game the way Roman did.
My mentality when I scrambled, because I got hurt in the pocket more than I did running. If I was running, I would try to know where people are coming from, and I'd pick out one guy, and I'd go for it, and I'd go with my shoulder. Yeah, get even.
Far removed from his days of taking on defenders, Roman has settled in Little River, South Carolina. Although quite different from the big stage and bright lights of Southern California, Roman is still the main attraction.
That's my neighbor, my friend, Manny. 90 years old. He's taking pictures of ladies that want to be in Hollywood. Come on, Brenda. I'll come to you, baby. Darvis, this is why I come to this gym. Go to the gym, spend 2.5 to 3 hours, and as you saw, an hour of that is talking to all my buddies. My doctor said, you know, if you live a boring life, you live longer. Well, my life is very boring, but I'm satisfied. It's great to know that you had a chance to do it for 16 years and do it the best you could. And the fact that people do remember what you did means you must have left your mark and done something right. So I was very just lucky, because I don't know of any other Filipino-Irish quarterback that's played in the NFL.
I have a little character, cartoon character on my wall, and it's this giant-sized guy, Gabriel, and he's in his uniform, and his head's in the clouds, and he's getting ready to throw a ball, and there's 5 little ants where the offensive linemen were standing around like we're going to block for him. But this guy, he was big enough and strong enough that even if one of our linemen got through, they'd hang on his leg and he'd still deliver the pass.
Gabriel's name began making headlines at North Carolina State University. At 6'5", 240 pounds, Gabriel was the first of his kind, a big, tall quarterback with a rocket arm, the original gunslinger.
I would say that I had as strong an arm as anybody in football. I wouldn't call myself a gunslinger, I'd call myself a snub-nosed 38, because I was kept under wraps most of the time.
Despite NC State's run-heavy offense, Gabriel's arm strength caught the eye of pro scouts. In 1962, Roman was selected #1 overall by the Oakland Raiders in the AFL draft and 2nd overall by the LA Rams in the NFL draft.
I ended up signing with the Rams, #1 because they had Bob Waterfield, who was a great pro coach that I thought would help me, and a 3-year non-guaranteed contract. How'd you could beat that?
His ascension to NFL prominence didn't come easily. Only starting 23 games from 1962 through 65, Gabriel's NFL future seemed uncertain.
In those days, the Rams thought they had to have a new quarterback every year. I came in when Zeke Bratkowski, who was a real fine quarterback, and then the next year they brought in Terry Baker, the Heisman Trophy winner, so that regulated me to 2nd string again. And the next year they brought in Billy Guy Anderson from Tulsa, who was pretty good. They were all good quarterbacks.
In 1966, Roman's luck started to change. The Rams hired George Allen as their head coach, and the rest is history.
Every time you lose, you die a little bit. You die inside, a portion of you. Not all of your organs, maybe just your liver. And every time you win, you're reborn.
Coach Allen came and he said, I think you can play. So he said, you come and compete if you can win the job, and I won the job. From that time on, became the Rams starter. He gave me hope. He brought in Ted Marchibroda, who taught me more about football than anybody that I ever had the rest of my career.
Gabriel's career finally took off. In 1966, he led the Rams to their first winning season in 7 years. From 66 to 72, Roman accumulated 63 wins and 2 division titles. Perhaps Roman's finest hour came when he was voted league MVP in 1969.
It meant that our football team was finally recognized as being pretty good, especially in the offensive side. I don't become that unless we're all playing together and doing well. I got lucky. I called good plays. That's about it.
In the City of Champions, winning is everything. You give these fans something to cheer for, and they will make you a star, on and off the field.
Look, when I'm going for the big one, I sure don't want to fumble. And that means using the hands just right.
Roman's knack for making big plays transitioned onto the big screen. He earned several roles in movies and commercials. His most notable role was in Undefeated, starring John Wayne.
Outside of my college education, there's not many things I would have been able to have if it wasn't for being a Ram.
Introducing Roman Gabriel, the great pro quarterback making his screen debut.
I actually did a small part, movie called Skidoo with Jackie Gleason, which I had a 5-minute part. With me having been a quarterback, I might have been on Skid Row being the best garbage man my dad said I could be.
And there's the Roman Gabriel grip.
It takes 2 hands to handle a Whopper, the two-fisted burger at Burger King.
Life in sunny California was going great for Roman until the early 1970s. Gabriel began to miss game action due to injuries, and the Rams would soon part ways with their signal caller, leaving his career in question.
I think it was probably had to do with my age, and I'd been banged around, but the worst thing was is they had told me that I wouldn't have a chance to be the starter, and that made a difference in me because I've always accepted the challenge.
Gabriel was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, a place where he felt he had something to prove.
I would say so. Just a very small chip, though, because I didn't want to hurt my throwing arm. It was great because I'm throwing the great Harold Carmichael, should be in the Hall of Fame, 6'7". Don Zimmerman, 6'5", had great speed, and Charles Young, what a man he was. It was just a fun year, and the first time in my career I got to throw the ball and I loved it. I couldn't miss.
Gabriel went on to prove everyone wrong in his first year with Philly. He set career highs in passing while also winning the 1973 Comeback Player of the Year.
Comeback player, because I had been told that I was no longer able to play. I think I proved that I could still play.
When he got traded, really ended up hurting his career. I think we could have played championship football with Gabe going on just as we had before. Just one of those things, that's what happens in football. Gabe was quite a quarterback and really quite a guy.
1973 seemed to be the final chapter in Roman's career as a player. Despite spending 4 more seasons with the Eagles, his role with the team started to decline. In 1977, Roman retired. Today, at 75 years old, Roman still loves the game and often reflects on his time as a player.
Of course, this is my offense. Mr. Mack, Mr. Iman, Mr. Schiavelli, Mr. Brown, Mr. Cowan, Mr. Truax, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Josephson, Mr. Bass, Mr. Gabriel, Mr. Ellison, Mr. Mason, and Mr. Smith. 67, I'm with, yeah, 67.
Should you be in the Hall of Fame?
I am. I'm in the Little River Life Quest Hall of Fame. As you saw, they put my pictures up on the wall. The guys that I work out with and my friends that I grew up with in high school, they're still my best friends, we're the same. I was taught by my